Chapter 18 of the Revolt on Venus. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information, or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. The Revolt on Venus by Carey Rockwell. Chapter 18.
Fire at will! Fire at will!
Aboard the command ship, Captain Strong roared the order to the rest of the fleet, and the individual ship commanders of the Solar Guard vessels broke formation and rocketed into the mass of nationalist ships, firing salvo after salvo of space torpedoes. But it was a losing battle. Time and again, Strong and Tom saw Solar Guard ships hemmed in by 3 and 4 nationalist vessels, then blasted into oblivion. Strong had ordered Tom to maneuver the command ship at will, seeking targets, yet still keeping from being a target, and the young cadet had guided the powerful ship through a series of maneuvers that had even surprised the experienced Solar Guard officer.
"Where's the rest of the fleet?"
roared Strong.
"Why aren't they here yet?"
"I don't know, sir.
Replied Tom.
But if they don't show up soon, there won't be much left to save."
"Bandits dead ahead,
Droned the voice from the radar bridge calmly.
trying to envelop us."
Tom's hand shot out for the intercom to relay orders to the power deck and glanced quickly at the scanner. He almost cheered.
Captain Strong, the rest of the fleet, it's coming in, attacking from topside."
"By the craters of Luna, you're right,"
yelled the young Solar Guard captain as he saw the white blips on the scanner screen.
"Okay, it's time to stop running and fight."
The Solar Guard reinforcements swooped down on the fighting ships with dazzling speed, and the sky over the jungle belt of Venus base was so thick with zooming, firing, maneuvering ships that observers on the ground couldn't tell one ship from another. For an hour the battle raged. During the seesawing back and forth, it seemed as if all ships must be blasted into space junk. Finally, the superior maneuvering and overall spacemanship of the Solar Guard vessels began to count heavily, and the nationalist ships began to plunge into the jungle or drift helplessly out into space. Reforming, the Solar Guard ships encircled the enemy in a deadly englobement pattern, and wheeling in great coordinated arcs through space, sent combined volleys of torpedoes crashing into the enemy ships. The space battle was over, a complete Solar Guard victory. Strong called to the remaining ships of his fleet.
"Take formation K. Land and attack the enemy base according to prearranged order. The enemy fleet is destroyed, but we still have a big job to do."
"What happens now, sir?"
asked Tom, relaxing for the first time since the space battle had begun.
"We try to destroy their base and put an end to this rebellion as quickly as possible,"
replied Strong coldly. One by one, the ships of the Solar Guard fleet landed around the rim of the canyon base. Troop carriers that had stood off while the space battle raged disgorged hundreds of tough Solar Guard Marines, each carrying shock rifles, paralo ray guns, and small narco grenades that would put an enemy to sleep in 5 seconds. A half-hour later, after the last nationalist ship had been blasted out of the skies, the rim of the canyon was alive with Solar Guardsmen waiting to go into action. Many had comrades in the Solar Guard ships lost in the space fight, and they were eager to avenge their friends.
"How many ships did we lose, sir?"
asked Tom after the squadron commanders had made their reports to Captain Strong.
40,
said Strong grimly.
"But the entire nationalist fleet was wiped out. Thank the universe that their radar was knocked out, or we would have been completely wiped out."
"Thank Astro and Major Connell for that, sir,"
said Tom, with the first smile on his face in days.
"I knew none of those green jokers could stop those two."
"I've got to report to Commander Walters and the Solar Alliance, Tom. You take a squad of men and move out. Your job is to find Astro, Roger, and Major Connell."
"Thank you, sir,"
said Tom happily. Down in the canyon, Major Connell had waited as long as he dared for Astro to return with news of Roger. From his position, the tough spaceman could not tell how the gigantic space battle had ended until he saw the Solar Guard troop carriers land on the rim of the canyon above. Satisfied, he decided that it was time to move. He stood up, careful not to expose himself, since fighting had broken out among the workers. Every street, shop, and corner would bring dangers, and having stayed alive this far, Connell wanted to reach the Solar Guard forces and continue the fight alongside his friends. Astro was nowhere in sight when the Major moved cautiously down a side alley, and he was beginning to think that Astro had not escaped from the base with Roger when he saw the big cadet suddenly appear around a corner running as hard as he could. A few seconds later, 3 green-clad Nationalist guards rounded the corner and pounded after him. Astro saw Connell and ducked behind an overturned jet car, yelling,
"I'm unarmed. Nail them, Major."
In a flash, Connell dropped to the pavement and, firing from a kneeling position, cut the Nationalists down expertly. When the last of the enemy was frozen, Connell rushed to Astro's side.
"What about Roger?"
he asked.
"I couldn't reach him,"
replied Astro.
"The sick bay's in the main administration building, and that's so well guarded it would take a full company to break in."
Connell nodded grimly.
"Well, the best thing for us to do is get more men and then tackle it."
"Yes, sir,"
said Astro.
"I think we'd better head for the canyon walls on the west. The Marines are pouring down that side."
"Let's go,"
grunted the Major, and led the way down the narrow lane. But when they reached the open area beyond the repair shops, they saw that the Nationalist guards had thrown up barriers in the streets and were preparing defenses against frontal assault.
"Maybe we'd better stay where we are, sir,"
the big cadet said after scanning the Nationalist defenses.
"We'd never be able to get through now,"
mused Connell.
"You're right. Maybe we can be of more use striking behind the lines."
Astro grinned.
"That's just what I was thinking, sir."
He pointed to a nearby barrier set up in the middle of the street.
"We could pick off the men behind that."
"Look out!"
roared Connell. Behind them, 5 Nationalist guards had suddenly appeared, but they were more surprised than Astro and Connell, and the big cadet took advantage of it by charging right into them. It was a short but vicious fight. There was no time to aim or fire a paralo ray gun. It was a matter of bare knuckles and feet and knees and shoulders. One by one, the green-clad men were laid low. And finally, Connell, out of breath, turned to grin at Astro.
"Feel better?"
he gasped.
"Than I felt in weeks."
Astro grinned. One of Connell's front teeth was missing. Astro leaned against the wall and pointed to the canyon wall where the columns of Solar Guard Marines were making their way down into the base under heavy covering fire from above.
"Won't be long now,"
"Come on,"
said Connell.
"They'll probably send scouts ahead of those columns, and we can make contact with them over there."
He pointed toward a high tangle of barbed wire set up in the middle of the nearby street. Astro nodded, and exchanging his broken ray gun for one belonging to a fallen Nationalist, raced to the edge of the barrier with the Major. They crouched and waited for the first contact by the Marines.
"They shouldn't be too long now,"
said Connell.
"No more than a minute, sir,"
said Astro, pointing to a running figure darting from one protective position to another.
"You there!"
shouted a familiar voice.
"Behind that barrier!"
Astro glanced at Connell.
"Major, that sounds like—"
"Come out with your hands in the air and nothing will happen to you,"
the voice called again.
"By the stars, you're right!"
yelled Connell.
"It's Corbett!"
Astro jumped up and yelled,
Tom, you big space-brained jerk! It's me, Astro!"
Behind the corner of a house, Tom peered cautiously around the edge and saw the big cadet scramble over the tangle of barbed wire with Connell right behind him. Tom held up his hand for the squad in back of him to hold their fire and stepped out to meet his friends.
"Major! Astro!"
The 3 spacemen pounded each other on the back while the patrol of Marines watched, grinning.
"Where's Roger?"
asked Tom finally. Astro quickly told him of the heavily guarded administration building.
"Is he all right?"
asked Tom.
"No one knows,"
replied Connell.
"We haven't been able to get any news of him at all."
"I'm going after him,"
said Tom, his jaw set.
"No telling what they'll try to do with him when they see their gooses cooked."
"I'll go with you,"
said Astro.
"No, you stay here with Major Connell,"
said Tom.
"I think it would be better if just one tried it, with the rest creating a diversion on the other side."
"Good idea,"
said Connell. He turned to the rest of the patrol.
"Men, there's an injured space cadet in the sick bay of the main building. He's the 3rd member of the Polaris unit and has contributed as much to victory in this battle as any of us. We've got to get him out of the hands of the Nationalists before something happens to him. Are you willing to try?"
The Marines agreed without hesitation.
"All right,"
said Connell.
"Here's what we'll do.
Quickly the Major outlined a plan whereby Tom would sneak through the lines of the Nationalists around the administration building, while the rest of them created a diversionary move. It was a daring plan that would require split-second timing. When they were all agreed as to what they would do and the time of the operation was set, they moved off toward the administration building. The rebellion was over, defeated. Yet the Nationalist leaders were still alive. They were desperate men, and Roger was in their hands. His life meant more to Tom Corbett and Astro than the smashing victory of the Solar Guard, and they were prepared to give up their own lives to save his. End of Chapter 18.